How are we doing today, Starseed Ascension Collective? The title of this video is called Behaving Like a Program, which is an extremely important topic and matter at hand within the world that we currently reside in and call our home. It also ties into the video I made a couple weeks ago entitled The Power of Authenticity as well. And although it was intended for twin flames, there are still universal truths within the video that broadly applies to all of humanity. Within that video where I spoke about the importance of practicing pure authenticity 100% of the time, every single day, I touched on a little situation I had, which actually inspired the video and could have turned into a bit of a karmic situation if I hadn't have intervened, where I made a transaction with someone, and when a problem occurred with the transaction, trauma wounds from the past began to creep in order to make me humor them, as well as to test me to see if I would backtrack into a smaller version of myself that I'd already truly risen far beyond. I mention this because the particular trauma wound that rose to the surface out of the blue would have made me behave unconsciously in a sort of separate from myself and what's natural kind of way, which is what's known as programmed behavior whenever we participate in this. The reason it's referred to as a program and not just a bad habit is because of the robotic matrix-based system that we've been enslaved and plugged into's heavy involvement with these sort of tics that suddenly pops up just to make us feel safe, not to blame when there is none to even be given, or less embarrassed whenever we're insecure about something petty or unimportant. Once you reach a certain level of your ascension journey, these tics, bad habits, and program-like behavior patterns that show up within you will start to feel like nails on a chalkboard to you and bring you great discomfort and dissatisfaction, and this is because it goes completely against God, your integrity, dignity, and envelops you even further into the false light ascension matrix, which your soul and entire being will gradually begin to fully realize inescapably until you ascend past it. This is what can actually send you into a dark night of the soul whenever a false sort of system within you begins to collapse and die with the Age of Pisces timeline. I will most definitely be making a video about the false light ascension matrix and even about the dark night of the soul in the future to go even further into all this to help you guys. But for now, I would suggest to take a look at my most recent video prior to this one, entitled Rebecoming God, if you'd like to learn a bit more about false light and the false light ascension matrix. What I can tell you for now, however, is that it is not good, that it is unnatural, deliberately antichrist, and that it purposely makes you pull away from all things sacred, pure, and real in order to make you evolve backwards and to be a match to the superficial world that the beast created instead of moving forward and ascending fully into the real world where you're a sovereign, self-sufficient, intelligent, wise, incredibly conscious divine being. Just like you naturally and originally were before you felt separate from that after incarnating here. When we have to interact with people throughout life behaving like an insecure program, this makes us automatically separate from other human beings as a result, which means that we have become blasphemous towards God. Because the whole point of being alive, as well as for being a representation of God as a living, breathing soul, is to commune with others in a harmonious state of being anyway. This is the blessing that comes with life, so it must be enjoyed and not taken for granted. Now, what happens when you're an insecure program that seems to think you're better than everyone? This makes you even more blasphemous towards God, Christ, and all things natural, because the behavior is then coming from a more demonic place of pettiness within yourself, which means that you are heavily in support of the false light ascension matrix, so much that you might as well be considered at one with the beast system, rather than being at one with God and all things natural. Being or behaving like a program means that you have said yes to separation, as well as to the entire separation agenda that the beasts purposely put into place for only a certain few, although there are still billions who are behaving like this, I'm being told by Spirit, to thrive in. Believe it or not, there are many starseeds who are in the same false light pool that naturally programmed people have no problem existing in. And underneath the surface, believe me when I say that they do want out, to officially wake up and for the energy of the world to shift into the positive direction of somewhere rather than nowhere, aka hell, like it's been heading for several years now. Which is why the Ascension Energies, if they're in tune with them, as well as Ascension experts like myself, are doing our part to let as many bona fide Starseeds know exactly what they're participating in, that God does still matter, that divinity does still matter, and that their soul does still matter, that they're still cared about, and that this is still the spiritual war between good and evil that we're actually fighting, just like the Bible warned us about, just hidden in plain sight. We have to be strong within our minds, heart, and spirit in order to successfully ascend out of hell on earth and up back home into the heavenly 5D New Earth Age of Aquarius paradise timelines where we belong. God and staying in tune with our God selves over the enemy at all costs is still a factor, which is something that you don't hear any spiritual gurus or practitioners ever say. So my advice to anyone who receives something from this video today and who would love to be raptured out of the false light ascension matrix to attain the ultimate inner and outer freedom that they deserve is to be authentic 100% of the time, even if it's a bit of a struggle to at first. There's a study that showed that once you practice healthier behavior patterns for at least a week, programming that was controlling you beforehand would have already significantly decreased by then. If you practice this new healthy behavior for at least a month, there's an even greater chance that you would have completely overcome whatever poor behavior pattern or addiction that had so much control of you before, which the study also states as well. I will also say to not think lowly of others, or try to put them down, throw them under the bus, or make them feel like a smaller, undivine, meaningless person just because you're insecure. This will only turn you even more into a petty, bitter, jealous, hating program, as well as pull you even further away from your soul and immerse you that much deeper into the false light matrix that's currently stealing the show right now all around the world. Oftentimes, poor behavior patterns and insecurities are inherited from family members or even ancestors, so this is a good excuse to be participating in the superficial realm temporarily while you're in a state of unconsciousness from this knowing. Other times, it would have stemmed from getting belittled, bullied, or antagonized in any way during the delicate years of childhood, making you experience these sort of insecure tics periodically due to the trauma wound's natural negative effect on your well-being. If either of these are the case for you, or even if you're someone watching this who was the bully at one point in time, and you'd like to have these tics removed from you to finally stop being a demon program, then visit my psychic surgery Etsy shop and look at the plethora of energy healing operations that I have available that can help you with this. A great place to start would be with the very popular and successful false light projection removal psychic surgery session, as it tackles all things false lingering within your system and pulls it out layer by layer every session you purchase. Many are very usually never required to be purchased in order to get to the seed point of what's been affecting you and have it completely removed altogether. You will be a brand spanking new, reprogrammed, reawakened, re-enlivened divine human being on a whole nother level just from taking at least a week or two to receive healing and fine-tuning from my shop. So humble yourself and come get the help if you honestly need it, for the doors will always be open. If you take full control of your ascension journey, as well as your life in general as a human being, I promise that God will surely smile upon you, beam down all kinds of sunshine, and bless you in the most special ways. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. Stay tuned for a likely part 2 to this in the future. Check the description for links to my services and offers. Like and subscribe if you like future content from me, and stay blessed, tribe. Bye.